Hello and welcome to the lineup. I'm your host, Loghan Hirkey, and today I will be speaking with Joel Casingal. Joel is a senior chemistry major on the pre-med track at Villanova University. He is also captain and president of the Villanova Rugby team. He has 10 years of experience with the sport and plays the position of scrum half. So hi Joel, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So I'm super unfamiliar with the game. How is the game of rugby played?
Yeah, so a lot of the time when people come up to you and ask you about rugby, they're like, oh, isn't it like football without pads?
Right.
But I'd say it's more akin to like soccer or lacrosse since it's a continuous game. And the big thing is you can only pass it backwards. So a lot of the time you're either passing it backward and trying to run through a gap that you create, or you're kicking it for field position. There's two 40-minute halves, and it's just like football with the scoring, except you get 5 for the actual score and then 2 more for the kick.
And what kind of equipment is involved?
Yeah, so you just really need your mouth guard, your cleats, and then the ball. I also wear something called a scrum cap. It's just something that I, for whatever reason, decided to start wearing. Kind of like head protection-esque, but not really too much. I just kind of like the look, to be honest.
And can you explain the different positions on the field?
Yeah, so it's kind of split up into 2 major groups, forwards and backs. So 1 through 8 are forwards, and then 9 through 15 are backs. So forwards are more like, if you're going to look at football, like your linemen, linebackers, bigger guys are doing a lot of the running and tackling, whereas the backs are like the smaller, faster guys. Mm-hmm. So I sit right in the middle at number 9.
And I know you play scrum half. Is that your favorite position?
Yeah, I'm back and forth on that. I would say it's one of my favorite positions, but even though I am a little bit smaller, I do love being a forward just because I can kind of turn my brain off and run around.
And have you always played that?
So I played it for the last 4 years at Villanova, and then I played it for 1.5 years in high school.
What made you start playing rugby?
Yeah, so it was actually my older brother. He's 16 months older than me, and in middle school, he just joined the team as a freshman in high school, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm doing it now. And that's kind of how it ended up.
And what has your role been like being president and captain?
It's a lot of fun. I definitely enjoy it a lot. I feel like it's a little bit stressful at times too, as with everything. It's, awesome because a lot of times you get to lead the team and be the good guy. But when things go wrong, you also have to be the bad guy. So I wouldn't have it any other way, but there's definitely pros and cons.
Definitely a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, 100%.
And I know rugby is a pretty high contact sport. Has there been any really bad injuries?
So not for me personally. A lot of the time, we don't really see too many bad injuries. Like, it'll usually be someone comes from high school and they'll have like a weak knee or something. They'll come out and they'll play and then they'll get re-agitated. But honestly, not too much.
I know a lot of high schools don't really have a rugby team. Did your high school have a rugby team?
Yeah, so I went to Charlotte Catholic in Charlotte, North Carolina, and that program was like 14 years or something.
Oh, wow.
When I got there. So they were a pretty big like presence nationally. And for whatever reason, rugby just kind of exploded in Charlotte at that time. So I was lucky enough to have, like 10 other high schools to play and then to travel throughout the state to even play teams.
Oh, wow. And who can join the Villanova club rugby team?
We'll take anybody. It's
anybody?
Open to anybody, any experience. We have grad students playing. We have, freshmen coming in playing. No, like tryouts, just whoever wants to have some fun.
So someone that's never played before can definitely join the team?
Yes, that is mostly encouraged because I'd say we're about like 20% of the people have played in high school and then the rest are new.
Okay. And how does a practice typically go?
Yeah, so normally we warm up. That's a big thing for injury prevention. We do a lot of warming up and stretching at the end, but we'll split up into forwards and backs, like I said, and we'll just kind of work on, backs will work on passing because we do a lot more of that, whereas forwards will work on more like hitting and stuff like that. And then we'll all come together, do a couple drills, and then run at the end, and that's about it.
How long is the season?
So the season is split into 2. So right now we are in the 15 season, which is the fall, and that goes until December at the latest. And then in the spring we have the 7th season, which starts as early as like March and usually ends in like May.
Do any sort of training in the summer?
So it's encouraged for people to run and lift. We'll usually send stuff out and like say, hey, do this if you want a program. But the thing about everyone joining rugby is they're usually already pretty physically active, so there's not much issue with that.
And when is the next game?
So our next game is actually our conference finals, and that's this Saturday at, I think, 1:15. And the winner of that gets to go to nationals for a non-playing round, so they'll be in the round of 16, and loser is playing in a playing game after that.
And do you still see yourself playing in the future?
I see myself playing until I physically am not able to anymore.
And you said it's very similar to football. Is the ball similar? Like, what are the comparisons?
Yeah, so the football, like compared to a football, rugby ball is a lot bigger. It's kind of like, I'd say around, I wouldn't say around double, like 1.5 times the size. It actually helps a lot with passing and kicking. So it's a lot easier in rugby to make a super long kick, make long passes. And also on top of that, another similarity is obviously tackling, but the biggest difference is the passing backwards, and also you're not able to really block or do anything like that.
And why do they pass backwards?
Yeah, so basically, little history lesson. The story of rugby was when it first started, it was like some English college, high school kids were playing rugby, they were playing soccer, and someone just picked it up and started running, and then they were like, out of nowhere, just created this game. And it's kind of always been like that because the big thing that they want you to achieve when passing backwards is kind of creating gaps in the defense. And that's done through, running the forwards in a bunch, or also just making a good pass out wide, because you're always kind of looking for that space on the field.
Right. And besides being on the field, does the team have meetings? Do they have bonding activities?
Yeah, so normally we'll have like team dinner every Friday, depending on that. After the game, we'll all just like get some food as well, hang out. Normally, like the home team will provide food and both teams will eat. So that's another time to hang out. And then also, we'll just get meals together or whenever we see each other on campus.
And how many people are on the team currently?
So right now, I'd say we have about like 30 at practices. And I'd say if we have the perfect weekend where everyone shows up, it'd be around 50.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Joel. It was really nice talking to you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Well, that's all for the lineup. I'm Loghan Hirkey, and see you again soon.